This is a summary of a primary that happened in Brooklyn in 2020. And as they say, those who do not learn from the past are doomed to repeat it. And so here is the Jabari Brisport Tremaine Wright race. And if you can look here, you can see basically where Tremaine Wright got a majority in these election districts. You can almost tell who is voting for who, right? Not specific people, but you can break it down to like blocks of 100 people or so. You know where people live, and you know who the majority voted for. And it's a little bit hard because even if they won the majority, there might have been 60 votes on the other side, and it might be 3 people, and then there's ranked choice and all that. But there was no ranked choice here. But you can tell from this, the purple is Wright, and the green, the deeper the color, the more the majority, is Brisport. And then there was some other person in the race too, and they won like 3 election districts, right? But from this, you can tell that here's the pocket of strength for, and this is much easier done on a real desktop because I'm going to show the live map, and it's hard to use on the phone. But I'm using MapboxA, which is powerful, but I guess their little viewer is not that good, so I'll adjust to that. But you can see that the election districts have also changed, so we have to use the 2020 election districts, and I'm just assuming the end of the year was the one. Maybe it's been changing constantly, but it does look like, except for that little odd thing here, right there, you see, that's odd. There might be little mistakes here, because I doubt, unless that's a park, maybe that's a park. Usually an election district should be contiguous. Look at these little things sticking out here. And people say, oh, gerrymandering or whatever. But look, it's happening all the time. There's these little it's squares that have to be put together. But if you look closely, there's a pocket here. This is probably the houses, the public housing there. This pocket here. Maybe this, too, is public housing, so that voted for Wright. And, oh, this also is probably public housing, so that might have voted for Wright. And there's this little pocket here. This is also public housing. But it looks like everybody else voted for Brisport except for this one other person that I haven't even found. I mean, did win a few election districts, but I don't see the color. It might be that little color over there. I don't know. I can research that if anybody wants to know. There was a third person. And what we see is exactly what this says. The election for Huntley versus Zinerman is coming up, 2024. If we look at history, we can see a similar race between the Vanguard Independent Democratic Club and the Democratic Socialist Club, I guess. They are in green, the Socialists, and the Wright Independent Democratic Vanguard ones are in purple. In the BAINBRIDGE area and the housing projects seem to have voted for, you see over here, this is also housing projects here, all this. And still pockets of Jabari Brisport. And then all along Broadway, it appears that it voted for Brisport. And let's just go to the live map. I highly recommend that you use a real computer for this. There is a live map down here. This is just a preview, but if you click on it, it takes a while to load. This is MapboxA, and it's going to load all the data. And you can use it yourself. It takes a while. It's straight from the election data and the Board of Elections and whoever's keeping track of the borders of these election districts. And if you wait a good 30 seconds or so, And this is not me, this is Mapbox doing this, or not us. But thank you, Mapbox, because you're doing a lot. And there it is. These are all the election districts, which we're just focused on BEDSTUY here. And if we zoom in, I recommend on a phone you just use the little plus, because if you click on anything, it's going to want to bring up the menu. And I wish there was a way to hide this JSON, but doesn't seem to be a way. So and I don't know a way to scroll without, so you can move around, but it's going to bring up this crazy menu, which I don't like. But you basically can get all the details. So if you go here and you cancel out of these crazy menus, and you want to see a particular election district, you can click on it, and then the fill opacity is simply the majority. How much did it win of the total votes? So there were 291 votes. You can think of that as the winning percentage. And there were a total of 406 votes, and Jabari Brisport won that particular district, which is 57. He definitely won Fort Greene and everything other than the housing projects and BAINBRIDGE, the Vanguard Independent Democratic Club, right, which seems to focus on the housing projects in their little area. All right, so all this mapping can be done for any election. You can almost tell who's voting for what, right, down to the block. Peace out, and good luck to everybody. And I don't recommend who you should vote for, but one thing is, look for constituent services. Who's providing constituent services? That's actually a thing that they're obligated to do. But without a unified constituency, you'll never know, because they hide behind confusion, right? But in my opinion, an elected official should be so exhausted after 2 years or 1 year or 4 years or whatever it is that they want to leave. You know, it's not a career. But it looks like it's the opposite. But here with information, you can actually see how it's done and where you have to focus on. And also you can run. So I encourage you. The more you know, the easier it is. And peace out.